This is Dr. Bharadwaz. I'm a medical doctor and I'm an expert in human health and human psychology. We are going to now look into the topic of serials. We will know in and out about serials today. By the end of the session, you should be able to get the knowledge of serials, whether they are good, they are bad, what are the controversies, their evolutionary history, complete history. After completing this video, you will be understanding everything about serials. Okay, so we will start with what are serials. Cereals are not the seeds. These are the fruit, the dry fruit, the complete fruit from the family Poaceae. It is also called graminae or the family of grass. The fruits, the dried fruits from the family of Poaceae, or which are used for human consumption, are cereals. Okay, what these cereals contain? These cereals contain endosperm, germ and bran. Okay, so normally when the cereals are hulled, the hulls are the bracts of the flower. So the hulling we do for cereals is to remove the bracts. Okay, in the same way we have millets. Millets are there is no difference between millets and cereals. The only difference is millets are small when compared to the fruits of Poaceae compared to cereals. So the only difference is cereals are much bigger, millets are smaller ones. And there are other things also known as pseudo cereals. Pseudo cereals, these are not from the family Poaceae. These are dicots, whereas Poaceae is monocot. Why we call them as pseudo cereals is because they look similar to the cereals, their nutritional value is similar to the cereals, and also the way we use, the way we prepare, the way we cook is completely similar to the cereals. That's the reason they are called as pseudo cereals. The only difference is cereals are from the family Poaceae, but pseudo cereals are not from the family Poaceae. Okay, yeah, we will look at the benefits and drawbacks of cereals. Why cereals are high in protein, cereals are high in fat, cereals are high in vitamins, cereals are high in minerals and also fiber. The only drawback of cereals is high in carbohydrate. This make all the difference. This makes the controversial statements. I know this is going to be controversial, this is going to disappoint you, this is the things we discuss further about the cereals is going to disappoint you and frustrates you, but still we have to know the truth. Okay, the only drawback is carbohydrates. We will look in future how major contraindication for human consumption this is. Okay, in order to understand cereals, we have to understand its history, because human evolutionary history is dependent on the cereals. Okay, there are all archaeological confirmations or archaeological evidences that human beings are using these cereals from way before 6,000 years. Okay, sorry, 60,000 years. So in human body we have adaptations for these cereals. So we have enzyme ptyalin in saliva that digests the cereals, starch or carbohydrate, and also we have the pancreatic enzyme amylase which digests the starch within the stomach. These are the adaptations. And also our teeth are adapted to consume the cereals as well. So it is estimated that human beings have been consuming these cereals 10 lakhs years ago. This might have been the truth, but we don't know. But evolutionary biologists estimate that human beings have been consuming these cereals for more than 10 lakhs years. All the cereals which we consumed before 11,500 years ago were wild collected, very small quantities, and the first crop the human being developed is cereals. So way before 11,500 years ago, in various parts of the world, independently humans have started consuming or making the crops of these cereals for both food, human consumption, and also for consumption of the animals, domestic animals. So that is forage, in the form of forage. So cereal is the first crop that is developed by human beings 11,500 years ago, independently throughout the world. And also we have the term called green revolution that took place in the middle of the 20th century. So with the advent of GMOs, genetically modified foods, and also pesticides and synthetic fertilizers, and also selective breeding of these cereals for increased quantity of carbohydrate. So these are the recent developments. And also we are consuming more cereals in the form of ready to use when the multinational companies come in and they have developed ready to use cereals in the form of puff and flakes. Okay, it is very easy to consume. So one more disadvantage of the cereal is we are consuming it in refined form. We are removing the bran, we are removing the germ, and we are eating only the endosperm. Endosperm contains only carbohydrate. Other than carbohydrates, everything is removed and we are consuming. So throughout the history we have adaptations for consuming the carbohydrates, but what happened was nowadays we are consuming it way beyond the required quantity. So with the advent of green revolution, much higher quantities for which we don't have adaptations. Okay, historically our ancestors were eating these cereals in very less quantity. Maybe they used to collect a handful of cereals in a week, or once in a month, once in 2 months, like that. But never in the history of human beings we have dumped into our system this much quantity of cereals for which our body has no adaptations. Okay, so before we go to the conclusion of cereals, we will look into one more thing, that is how the cereals, so what are the common cereals which we use and whether they are healthy or not. So you can see if something is in green, those are low in carbohydrate, which should be used for which can be used in maintenance of reducing the weight. If it is in amber, it helps in maintaining the weight. If it is in red, it is completely unhealthy and completely not useful for human consumption. Okay, so you can see these are the common cereals we use, but none of these cereals is good for human consumption. So there are many people, they say that millets are good, brown rice is good, hand pound rice is good, but what the data says, we will look into it. The most important thing of human health is keeping the carbohydrate content under 50 grams per day. If you take at least 100 grams, not even one cereal or one millet within the list that we commonly use is going to suffice this criteria. We can look into it. Hand pound rice, we have 76.7 grams of carbohydrate per every 100 grams of edible portion. So all the values here are given for 100 grams of edible portion. In 100 grams of edible portion, what is the content of carbohydrate, what is the content of protein, what is the content of fat. Okay, we will look into it. Hand pound rice, carbohydrate percent is 76.7%. Milled rice, that is polished rice, it is 78.2. You can see the complete list. None of these are useful. I know this is controversial, this is going to frustrate you, this is going to disappoint you, but the truth is none of the cereals, including kodo millet, proso millet, all the millets, what are all the millets we have mentioned? Buckwheat, amaranth seeds, quinoa, these are all pseudo millets. Even pseudo millets are very high in carbohydrate. Little millet, brainyard millet, foxtail millet, kudo millet, oats, barley, wheat, maize both in dry form and tender form, pearl millet, finger millet, proso millet. Okay, none of the cereals and none of the millets, none of the pseudo cereals are good for human consumption, because you can see every millet has more than 60%. So this is not at all good for human consumption. Yes, you can yeah, I'm closing this and we will go to our slide. We'll conclude what I want to say. Okay, yeah, what is the conclusion about cereals? As I said, this is going to disappoint you, this is going to frustrate you, this is a much controversial topic, but we will go through this. So the cereals which we are consuming are refined. Those are divide of bran and grams, so we lose complete protein and complete fat, minerals, vitamin, fiber in it. So do not use refined cereals. Refined cereals are not good. We don't have proteins. As I said, endosperm, when it is devoid of bran and germ, it contains only endosperm. Endosperm is full of carbohydrate. Other than that, we don't have. And these cereals are going to interfere with our major and the most important requirement, keeping the carbohydrate less than 50 grams per day. What happens when you eat cereals is your insulin is going to shoot up. So when the insulin is going to shoot up, before insulin shoot up, the carbohydrate content in your blood is going to shoot up. This causes to the pancreas to produce insulin. Once the insulin is produced, the carbohydrate reaches the body cells, whether it is heart, whether it is abdomen, whether it is chest, everywhere this carbohydrate is observed, and this carbohydrate is converted into fat and deposit. This causes major problems in the body. Deposition of fat causes major problem. The reason is insulin. When you eat carbohydrate, sugar is going to be shoot up in your blood. It triggers insulin. Insulin causes the deposition. This will be a roller coaster. Once the sugar is out of your body, then you again feel hungry. Again you get the craving for carbohydrate. Again you dump carbohydrate in the body. For some time you are okay. Again this roller coaster, this insulin and hyperglycemia roller coaster you will be entering, and it will cause a damage of the body. And what are all the cereals? These are breads. We will be consuming cereals in various forms. These are any kind of flour or bread, pasta, noodles, polished rice, bun, roti, naan, pulka, chapati, semia, vermicelli, porridge, puffs, cakes. Anything that is made up of cereals is not healthy. Yeah, as a children you can get away with this, but as an adult this is controversial, but as an adult, never ever consume cereals. Yeah, you can consume sometimes, maybe once in a week you take cereals, or once in a month, twice in a month you can take, but do not get adapted to cereals. Don't depend on cereals for your energy. So the energy, we need energy for the body to do our regular activities. The source of energy for human body should be from fat, good amount of fat. You can take plenty of fat. Animal fat is very good in its organic form and in its fresh form. Our body should be running on fat, not on carbohydrate. So you have to slowly switch your metabolism from carbohydrate to fat. Never ever depend on carbohydrate. Come out of this roller coaster. This is a conclusion for our cereals. And if you like this video, if you think this is useful, like the video, help your kin and friends by sharing the video, interact with me through comments, save the video for future review. Links are provided in the description for Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. You can follow us there. There is plenty of information. And finally, subscribe to the channel, activate the bell icon to become healthy and to stay healthy. Thank you.